Behind me is my 2020 Toyota Supra 3.0 Premium, and I will just say right now, if you have any interest in buying this car, or if you just want to know about my experience with this car, this video is for you. And you are probably going to learn a lot of things that you didn't know about this car that I wish I knew before I bought the car. So without wasting any time, I'm just going to jump straight into it and tell you guys everything important about this car. Now, these first few things that I'm going to explain about this car are going to be most importantly crucial to somebody that is trying to modify this car. Now, my car is a 2020, but it is not stock. It came stock from the Toyota dealership when I bought it. But over the past couple of weeks, been making some changes, you know. But unfortunately, it's not that simple when it comes to buying this car. For whatever reason, I have no clue why. When Toyota was making this car, they decided to lock the ECU on a certain year, or should I say certain years. And unfortunately, when you are going to try to tune your car, having the ECU locked is like the worst possible thing that could happen to you. So one thing to look out for is going to be the ECU date. Now, if your car is a 2020, it is most likely unlocked. That's kind of like a pro of having a 2020, is that chances are it's going to be unlocked. But there is a slight possibility that you end up getting one with a post-June production date ECU, and I'm pretty sure anything before June 2020, like I said, is unlocked. So pretty much if you have a 2021, 22, or 23, you're most likely screwed when it comes to an unlocked ECU. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you can't get it unlocked. There is a way to get your ECU unlocked, and that involves shipping your ECU out to Finland. But all I know is that it's a pain. You're not gonna be able to drive the car for at least like a couple weeks, maybe even a month. I've heard of people having to wait 2 months to get their ECU back. So overall, if you are deciding between 2020 or anything above that, and you are looking to tune the car, 2020 might be your best bet. Now, with that being said, there are some differences in power. The 2020 versus the 21, 22, and 23 are much different in power on paper. Now, I say on paper because the 2020 comes with 335 horsepower and 365 pound-feet of torque. Now, the 2021 comes with 382 horsepower and only 368 pound-feet of torque. Now, in terms of the torque, that's a difference of literally 3, which is not really noticeable in my opinion. But in terms of power being almost a 50 horsepower difference, that is pretty make or break for some people. But for some people, that's not me. Now, I have talked to plenty of people that have a 2021, 22, and I've talked to people that have a 2020. I've also talked to people that have driven both of these cars, and from what I've heard, in terms of actual feeling, there is no difference whatsoever from the 2021 and all of the other models. Now, feeling the power doesn't necessarily mean that the power's not there, but there's another thing that I want to bring to your guys' attention. The 2020 year of this car is the only year that comes with a 2-port cylinder head, and the 2021 and above come with a 6-port cylinder head. So what does that mean? Now, this isn't going to be something you're going to be able to very visibly see, but when I pop my hood and peek us down here, you're going to be able to see my turbo. Like I said, you're probably not going to be able to see it too well, but down in here is where my turbo lies, as you can see. Now, I'm going to take a guess and say that you guys probably can't see exactly what I'm seeing, but essentially what I'm looking at is the cylinder heads and how they come out into the turbo and the downpipe. This car has a 2-port cylinder head, meaning that there are only 2 ports that come out. These are exhaust ports, and they go straight into the turbo. Now, the 2021 and above all have 6 ports. So Dylan, why does that matter, and why do I care? Well, again, if you are trying to build this car for power, 2-port is going to be better. Like I said, 2-port is only the 2020 version. Basically, think of it like this. If you are trying to build the car over 1,000 horsepower, anything over 1,000, 6-port is probably going to be better. But if you are like pretty much everyone on the face of Earth that doesn't have $100,000 to build this thing to 1,000 wheel, you're most likely going to be in the 500 horsepower, maybe 600, maybe 700, but nothing crazy high in this car. So anything sub 1,000 horsepower, this is just from what I've heard, the 2-port is better and it makes more power off the jump. Now, since we are on the topic of years for this car, I just want to wrap it up with one last thing in terms of comparing the different years. I have heard, now this is not from my own experience because I do have a 2020, but I have heard that the 2021 and above have oil consumption issues, meaning they absolutely drain oil so quickly. I've seen it in videos and I've heard about it a lot, but I don't know if that's very true. Like I said, this car is made by BMW and BMWs are known for oil consumption, so it doesn't really surprise me too much. But for me and my car, so far I've had no problems. Now, I have owned this car for only 1 month. It has not even been that long, but I can definitely say that in this month period, I have learned a lot. I've gotten a lot of seat time in this car, and I'm starting to really understand this car inside and out. Okay, so now that we've gotten the years debate out of the way, I want to talk about the tires on this car. Now, a lot of people don't really talk about this, and this is something that I wanted to know before I bought this car, so I am just going to let you guys know how it is with these tires on this car. Now, these are Michelin Pilot Super Sports. They are 275/35/19 in the back and 255/35/19 in the front. So this is mainly going to be something to look out for those modified boys that want to tune this car. When this car comes stock, you will spin in first gear. You won't spin a ton, but you will definitely find it hard to catch traction in first gear. If you decide to tune this car, on the other hand, you will not hook with these tires, I promise you. I have tried a ton of testing. I've been tuned for about 2 weeks now, maybe almost 3 weeks I've been tuned in this car. And when I tell you I do not hook, I do not hook. I have tried everything. I have gotten the tires super warm, 115, 120 degrees on the tires. There is no hooking from a dig in this car. So you might be wondering, where will I hook and at what point will I hook? Now, this is hard to say. I don't know the exact tire tread if you have the same tires, but for me, in my experience, if I have it in sport mode and I'm doing it from a roll, 35 to 40 is where I start to hook. Now, I have had times where the tires are cold and I don't even hook from 55. Like I said, I mean, it's so different because it's hard to tell with like the tire temperature and this and that and this and that. But one thing I definitely need to upgrade on this car soon is the tire setup. I'm thinking about some Nitos or some R888s. Let me know if you guys have any experience running the two, because I have had the hardest time debating between the two. I've heard some are noisier, some are quieter, I don't know. But I just wanted to make sure I clarified because nobody told me before I got the car, but these tires barely hook for shit. Now, I will say that they are really, really, really great tires, and when they do hook, they hook. All depends on the weather, road conditions, stuff like that. The next thing I want to talk about is the wind buffeting. Now, if you have done any research on this car, you have probably found that one of the biggest problems in this car is the wind buffeting. Now, what exactly is wind buffeting? Essentially, being that this car is a coupe and has a very specific design of how it was built, if you have these windows rolled down and you are going anything over 40 miles per hour, it is going to sound like a complete helicopter, and it's going to really hurt your ears pretty bad. I'm going to be honest, I don't really understand why this wasn't fixed before the production cars were sent out, because it is a very, very simple fix and it does not affect the appearance of the car by much at all. I'm going to show you guys a really simple fix to this wind buffeting, and it's probably something that you can't even see unless I point it out. I'm about to point it out right now. It is this right here, this little black piece that I put on. I got this from Amazon. I will show you guys a link, but this has absolutely changed it. I don't know what it is. It's something about, you know, sticking out right here and breaking up the wind from getting in the cabin. I don't know how it works, but it works. And you know, I've gone some pretty high speeds, nothing crazy, but some pretty high speeds in this car, and it has worked well beyond 40 miles per hour. And of course, it starts to rain after I just got a car wash and when I'm trying to film a YouTube video. So I don't know how hard it's gonna rain or how long it's gonna rain for, but this is a massive dark cloud, and hopefully this doesn't ruin my video. We'll see. I might have to sit in my car for like 20 minutes. Fuck. Well, I figured while we're in the car, letting it rain out a little bit, why don't I talk about some inside car details? Now, the one thing that I wanted to note, because I did see on a forum that a bunch of people were saying that, you know, the inside cabin noise is really loud. You can hear the road a lot when you're driving. Kind of something that's hard to explain to somebody that doesn't already understand it, but that's kind of the gist, I guess. Well, I will tell you that in my experience, that is completely false. This car drives so smooth and so quiet. A big factor in like determining whether or not the car is loud on the inside is mainly the tires. And from what I've experienced, these tires are super soft sounding. You don't hear a lot of droniness from the tires. And even with the exhaust, so I have a catless downpipe on this car. When I put it in sport and I floor it, yeah, you're gonna hear it and it's gonna make some noise. But when I pop it back in comfort or normal mode and I drive normally, it is the quietest car. It sounds like nothing is modified and it drives really, really, really nice. I got security up here, he might kick me out. Same thing happened last time and I don't understand why, because I'm just sitting here nice and quiet, nice and chill. I'm not doing burnouts. I'm not doing anything like that. He's definitely gonna come kick me out. I see him. What if I just sat here and like didn't roll my window down when he's trying to talk to me? I guess I should. What's going on? All right, I got you. It depends, but yeah. Yeah. I got you, bro. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, he's cool. Last time I was here, they actually literally kicked me out. I was filming a video for my friend's channel. He had an F80 M3 and we were putting parts on his car and the security guard here came up and they were like, you gotta get out of here. And we were like, well, we're not really doing anything. He's like, I don't care. He was very angry. So I'm glad that guy didn't kick me out and he said he liked the car too. So I'm gonna respect his wish and I'm going to park normally because for whatever reason, I parked like an idiot, even though there's nobody up here. The next thing I'm gonna tell you guys about is the sound system, and I'm sure you've heard about this as well. The sound system in this car is a JBL/Harman Kardon collab sound system, whatever you wanna call it. I have a JBL speaker at home, and I also know people that have cars with Harman Kardon sound systems. And let me tell you, Harman Kardon is amazing, and JBL speakers are amazing, but these speakers in this car are terrible. The top end frequencies of the sound is like all right, but it's really just the bass that isn't really good, which is a little unfortunate. My last car, my BMW, is a 2013 328i, had much better speakers in it than this does. Now I will say that there is a fix to that, but it involves opening up your subwoofer and like carving a hole and doing all this extra stuff. Not really worth it for me. Overall, I would give the bass or the sound system like 6, 7 out of 10. It's really not the worst, but it's not the best at all. It is really starting to come down and it is not giving me a break. I hope the rain noise isn't too much for you guys. It's not really raining a lot. It's just like heavy rain droplets for some reason. But I guess the next thing that I'll talk about is the amount of space in this car. So as you guys can see, I am 5'7", 5'8", around there, one of the two. And this is me sitting in my car at a comfortable position for me. But as you can see, there is no, I don't know if you guys can see. Let me try to put my flashlight on. If you guys can see back here, there is no, like this is the subwoofer. It is right here. So I am literally sitting with my back to the subwoofer. Now I do know people that are 6 foot that drive this car that say, you know, it's comfortable, I can manage it. I think the cutoff for this car is honestly 6 foot, maybe 6'1", maybe 6'2". I don't know, it depends on how close you sit to the steering wheel. But for me, I am very, very comfortable with where I'm sitting. I like to sit a little bit further away so that I have some arm room back here. But I'm gonna show you guys, I'm gonna press the button on the side and I'm gonna show you guys how far until I hit the back. I hit it. So, you know, I might have an extra like inch, 2, maybe 3 extra inches up here. But to me, you know, this car is definitely not the most spacious. And even with people getting in and out of it, I drive people in my car. Getting in, you have to watch your head because you'll hit your head getting in or out. You do have to squat down because the car's low to the ground. And there isn't a ton of legroom up here. I won't say it's the worst in the world, but it's just something to note. Another thing to consider or think about is whether or not you're gonna get the base model package or the premium package. Now, I have the 3.0 premium, so it has pretty much everything that you could possibly want in this car. The premium does have a little bit of a difference. With the premium, you do get leather seats rather than the Alcantara. I actually liked the Alcantara at first when I sat in one that wasn't a premium, but I really, really love the leather. You get heated seats. You also get a wireless Apple CarPlay system, which is pretty solid. I'm trying to think of what else. I think the upgraded sound system is also included in this package as well. Oh, well, I guess this is a good thing to note as well. I don't know if you guys can see right here, I'm kind of moving around it, but there is a heads-up display right there. You can see my speed limit. You can see here, it shows me my speed limit in miles per hour, and it says the exact same thing up here if it'll focus. I'll have to show you guys at night or once I go back down into this parking garage, because you'll be able to see it a lot better that way. But heads-up display is a pretty cool thing. And, you know, obviously you get the wheels, the tires, the whatever in the premium package. And I forget what else there is. I feel like there's some other things, but nothing too crazy to note. I'm not gonna lie, I'm really not sure if this carbon fiber right here, this is all carbon. I'm not sure if this is included in just the premium or if it comes with every car, but I also forgot to mention that you do get a wireless charger down here. And this is something huge for me, at least. Like, I was super excited to get the wireless charger because I don't like having wires in my cockpit, which is why I still do not have any wires here. But this wireless charger does not charge your phone. It will not charge. The only thing that happens is your phone starts to overheat. I've even gotten a warning on my phone one time saying that it was way too hot, needs to cool down. So I would not rely on this wireless charger. It might charge your phone maybe like 5% per hour, maybe even less, but it does not do the job, and they definitely need to fix that. Hopefully my camera doesn't get destroyed. Okay, it's really coming down now. But I literally have like 1 or 2 things left to show you guys about this car. So the first thing that I don't like, coming back out onto the outside now, is you have no trunk button. So this is not a button, this is not a button. I am getting absolutely fucking soaked, but this is the only way that you can open this trunk. And I'm not even gonna open it right now because it's so wet outside. Oh my God, it's coming down. I can't even, I gotta get back in. Oh no. My camera just got soaked. You can see literal water drops coming down off. God does not want me to film right now. I don't know what's going on. Anyhow, the only other way that you can open the trunk is from this button on the side. So if you don't have your key and you don't feel like pressing this, you are not opening your trunk. There is one last thing that I wanted to mention to you guys before it started absolutely pouring, and that was going to be the fake vents on the outside. Now, I will just pop up pictures for the sake of me not getting absolutely drenched again, but the fake vents are definitely something to consider. A lot of people are very angry at the fact that Toyota made a really nice sports car with non-functional vents, but for me, it really does not bother me at all. Fuck it, the rain just pretty much stopped out of nowhere, so I'm gonna hop out. Fake vent number 1, not functional. Fake vent number 2, not functional. Fake vent number 3, not functional. Now, the vents down here in the front are functional. Fake vent number 4, not functional. So you would think that with the looks of these vents being so aerodynamic, taking the air from here, up through here, all the way up and back through here, cooling the brakes, you would think that it would actually work, but none of them work. Again, I have my own opinion on this. Personally, I think, you know, Toyota and BMW, when they made this car, they had a lot of things in mind, and one of the things that they definitely had in mind was, are these vents going to make a huge, massive difference if we open them or close them? I personally think that they decided against that. Now, if you are one of the firm believers that these air vents are going to make or break the amount of power or the cooling or whatever in your car, that is also okay, because you can get aftermarket parts. You can swap out these vents. Some of them are even carbon fiber. They're pretty nice. But for me, it's just really not that big of a deal to me. Maybe long term, if I end up trying to build this like a crazy race car, which I'm probably not gonna do, then I'd consider it, but otherwise, it doesn't really bother me. But overall, that is wraps for my 2020 Supra. Everything you should know before buying one, no matter what year you buy. There is always something to know, and there is always something to learn new about this car. I am learning new things every single day. Going back to the tires really quick, when it rains, forget about it. If you're driving in like comfort, you're gonna be fine no matter what, like in the rain. And as long as you're not flooring it, you're gonna be fine, everything. Even the snow, like I haven't experienced this car in the snow yet, but you know, I know from the past of having a rear wheel drive car, but if you put this thing in sport and you floor it in the rain, you are not catching traction for shit, and it's also really dangerous. So I don't recommend you do that. But hopefully you guys learned something about this. Hopefully this helped you in your buying process of buying a Supra. If you are debating between the Supra or any other car, I'm probably gonna tell you that I did the exact same thing. I went between so many different cars, even an R8, and I decided against that to get this, even though, if you guys know, you know, I'm still getting the R8, just not yet once I'm done building this one. But if you are getting one, I can't wait for you to get one. I think you're gonna absolutely love this car. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you wanna see some more videos, comment, let me know what I should do next. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.